Hello everyone, Silent here. Welcome back to another Minecraft Bedrock Edition tutorial. In this one, I'll be showing you how to build a very simple, cheap, and reliable shulker box loading system. This is a one-wide tileable system, meaning that you can have as many of them in a row as you like, and it is also a 6 wide by 7 tall, so it's not quite the smallest thing ever, but it does function, which is just about all that you can really ask for on Bedrock. So this is actually going to be an updated tutorial from my previous shulker box loading design, which would actually work perfectly fine. However, observers when loaded will actually send a pulse if they are facing redstone dust. So just to demonstrate this real quick, we're going to log out of the world and log back in. And as you can see, when loading back into the world, all of these guys have sent out a pulse, and this system is now activated, which is not what you want in pretty much any circuit ever. So just a little bit of a PSA, don't use observers facing powered redstone dust in any of your circuits because it will break pretty much immediately. But as you can see, this is the system size with an item filter on top again. Not quite the smallest thing ever, but there certainly are bigger designs out there. And then you can, of course, tile this system as well. So just for demonstration, we are using slightly pre-filled shulker boxes. So these ones have 19 items left in them to be filled. And that's just so that we can actually demonstrate the system working, which as you can see, it does work tiled just fine. There is no issues with the redstone dust or anything like that because we are using signal strength. And honestly, it works quite well. I'm quite happy with this system. So as you can see, I have tested this system extensively, and every single one of the shulker boxes that I've ever sent through here has always gotten a full 27 stacks of items put into it, which is quite lovely, and this means that this will work very reliably for you and your world. This system isn't without flaws. I thought I'd just run you through a couple flaws that this has real quick. So first of all, there's not really direct access to the shulker boxes in there. So if you want to break your shulker box and just take it out before it's completely filled up, then you would have to remove this block and then you would have access to break the shulker box. Not that big of a deal, but I thought I would mention it. However, if there's not exactly 23 items in that hopper, you can actually just walk in here and then break the shulker box. A little bit of something that I thought I would mention for transparency's sake, but that's pretty much all there is to it. Also, it's not completely 100% one-wide tileable because if you just have a single slice, then it would actually be broken because this redstone dust right here, when it gets powered from this comparator, would directly power this hopper, which is not great. So you have to actually have another block right here to divert that redstone dust. This isn't a problem when you have more than one because there is redstone dust next to each and every single one of the guys, so not a problem. So with all that stuff out of the way, let's hop into the tutorial, shall we? Before we get building, in case any of you are interested, down in the description there's going to be a full materials list for this build. So we're going to need a 6 wide area by a 7 tall to build this contraption, and this over here is where we're going to be calling the front. The back side is going to have all this redstone dust and the piston on it. So we're going to start off on the back side with a block right there. We then want an observer facing downwards right on top of that block. So the butt of that observer should be facing into there. And then we want to go ahead and get ourselves a dropper, an observer, a solid block, another dropper, get another observer facing downwards towards that dropper, another solid block on top of that, and then your dispenser right here. Place a sticky piston facing towards the front of this contraption on top of that observer. That should activate all of this and activate your dispenser as well. Go ahead and get yourself a observer facing downwards on the front of that sticky piston, and then place in your hoppers. So this hopper can go either to the left side or the right side, depending on where you want your filled shulker boxes to go. And if you want to have an independent double chest for each one of your filled shulker boxes, I'll be showing you a modification that you can make to this system a little bit later on. Go ahead and place a slab on top of your hopper, and then you want to get a normal piston right in front of that dispenser. So now what you want to go ahead and do is place your comparator right on top of that piston right there with a temporary block above that slab, hopper facing downwards into that temporary block, and then a couple of solid blocks, one in front of that comparator, one on top of it, and then you want a hopper facing into the side of this block. That is very important that this is facing into the side of that block. Go ahead and place a piece of glass right on top of your piston right there, and then a solid block behind it, and just redstone dust on top of all of that. So now go ahead and place a button right here on this block, meaning that you can dispense your first ever shulker box, or if your system ever runs out of shulker boxes, you can also dispense it to get it going again. Also place in your walls of blocks on either side to prevent filled shulker boxes from getting lost. Now, something I'm going to leave up to you guys is how you distribute your shulker boxes to all of your dispensers. There's room for a hopper on top of your dispenser, and there's also room for a hopper right here. So you can have a rail line going on top of this with a minecart chest to evenly distribute shulker boxes to all of your loaders, or you can come back here and do it manually. I don't know, whatever suits your fancy. I'm just going to be leaving a hopper on top of the dispenser right there. So that is your system completely done. We can go ahead and place in a couple of our demonstration shulker boxes with only 19 items needing to be filled in them. Go ahead and press the button to dispense our first ever shulker box. And then I'm just going to put another shulker box on top of there just to fill up the other ones. And once this gets completely filled up, this hopper is going to reach 23 items in it. When it reaches 23 items, it's going to give out a signal strength of 2, locking this hopper, preventing more items from flowing in there. It's also going to activate this piston, which will activate the rest of the system over here. So very simple base mechanics of how this works, and I don't think that this will ever be broken, but again, it's Bedrock. Everything gets broken like every update. So what about if you want an individual item output for each slice, aka this slice right here puts out its filled shulker boxes into a chest, the next slice over here puts out its filled shulker boxes into a chest, and so on and so forth forever. It's actually very easy to modify the system in that way. So we're just going to go ahead and remove the slab, remove the hopper, remove this solid block as well, place in a dropper facing upwards right behind this observer with a hopper facing downwards into it. Then just go ahead and replace your slab, remove a couple blocks underneath this thing, and then you just want a couple of hoppers going into your chest right here. And that's pretty much as simple as that for an individual item output for each slice. And that is going to do it for this tutorial, everyone. Thank you ever so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And I hope that you guys get some use out of this build in your world, or maybe just enjoyed the video. Please do leave a like if you did enjoy, and maybe subscribe to the channel if you guys are new here so you don't miss the next thing that I upload. And yeah, I'll see you guys down in the comment section and in the next one. And then there was silence.